Hello and welcome to the Hybrid Soul Countdown. I'm your host, Kelly Kinkaid, and today we have singer, songwriter, musician, community activist, artist in residence at Dillard University, and New Orleans' own PJ Morton. Hello,
Yes, yes.
PJ. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Good to see
I'm
you.
good. I'm good. Thank you. You know, I just ran down just probably, I know I missed something else that you do. How do you balance everything that you do?
Yeah. Well, I first of all, I have great people around me. I think that's important to understand. There are some things that uh people around me can't do. Like PJ has to do them. They
Right.
can't sing for me, right? But they can they can do some administrative things for me, and they can help me with scheduling. I have an amazing team around me. That's one thing. And I've always been pretty good at multitasking,
Yeah.
because I try to stick to things that I'm passionate about. So it makes it easier, at least, to be doing all of them, because I genuinely, love what I'm doing.
Because I know family is probably you have to add in family. I had to
Yes.
add your Grammy award winning artist. You're up for
Yeah.
Grammys this year. But the most important question was for me. So I have a TV show that I'm a fan of, right? So every
Hmm.
time I hear the jingle, the beginning, the promo, I'm like, I know this voice, I know this voice. And then as I'm going through your catalog, I finally hear this full song, and I was like, I was today years old to know that PJ Morton did the theme song for Ready to Love. What's
Yes,
up?
yes, yes.
How did
Yeah.
that happen?
It's so crazy. I mean, that was some years ago now. I mean, because this is the fifth season
Yeah.
that just started. And they asked me to do a jingle for it. Somebody reached out to us, and I was happy to do it. But what was so crazy is, it was really just that 15-second jingle.
Right.
I mean, I didn't
Right.
write a whole song, but literally every time the show would come on, somebody would hit me or like question, who's doing this song? Who's the
Right.
song? Who's the and so it took me some years, but then I was like, let me finally write this whole song and put it out there. So I finished it, and the people are happy. They're happy I finally did
Yes,
it.
we are. Like when
Yeah.
I heard the full song, I was like, whoa, oh my goodness, it
Yeah.
was a full song. Did I miss it? So I
No,
love on
no.
Instagram, you
Yeah.
explained it. It's like Rihanna has a song on her album, James Joint, that
Yes.
I want a
Oh,
full
I
song.
rather be. Oh my Lord, I love that song. Shout out to James Fauntleroy who wrote that.
Okay.
Oh
Right.
man, oh, such a good song. I wish it was a whole song.
You could do all of your catalog. You could take all those songs and just make PJ's love songs because you got a number
Sure.
one hit now. Please don't walk away. That's a great song and it's number one. How
Thank
does
you.
that feel? And I love the video.
Well, I'm just so excited that like people are responding to that song the way I felt like it felt to me. Like every time I play, I'm like it's special, and I do a lot of songs, so you can feel that way, and then the public not respond exactly how you feel. But this
Yeah.
has been like immediate, like people have responded to it like immediately, and I think a big part of it is a man being vulnerable. I think it's been a while. Right now we're in this cool phase of like, it's plenty of fish in the sea, but sometimes it's that fish you don't want to lose. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be honest about it. And I think there haven't been songs to represent that feeling of like,
Yeah.
nah, her actually, I'll beg, please don't walk away. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I think it's just connecting in a real way. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful.
And in the new normal that we live in now, people are dying, and I,
Yeah.
I always tell people, life, I've been saying life is short, but life is as long as you want to make it, in the sense of no regrets. And I think
Yeah,
that,
how you live it.
yeah,
Yeah,
this song is just so great because it applies to men, but it's some stubborn women out here too who,
sure,
don't want
sure.
it. They don't want you to walk away and stuff. And,
Yeah.
communication. I love it. And I love the video with Don Richard,
Thank you.
your homegirl,
Yeah.
another
My
Louisiana native.
That's right. New Orleans girl who's such an amazing talent herself. I mean,
Yes.
in a bunch of spaces, but of course, as an artist, she's amazing. And she came and hooked me up, and we just did the video was a New Orleans love story. You know what I'm saying? And I just
Yeah.
wanted to capture the city and capture that vibe.
You've worked with so many dope people, writing for them, singing with them. Has there been, so like you've really worked, you are a singer in your own, you come from a musical family, but you've worked with,
Mhm.
I'm gonna give it the greats, Jasmine Sullivan, JoJo,
One of the best. Yes.
all these different singers, Snow Allegra and all them. Has there ever been a session that you was like, I'll be right back. Let me go get some tea because I got to step up to this singer.
No, I mean, I'm always in a, the fact that I started as a producer and a
Mm-hmm.
songwriter. So I always like got off on an amazing artist who can do whatever you need them to do. And I've like you said, I've worked with literally some of the best. And it's nothing like that feeling of like, well, I have a blank canvas. This girl can sing anything. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it just gets me excited. It just makes me want to write a better song, makes me want to produce it the best because you want to put that amazing thing on, put it on a pedestal. So I just always get excited about it, but it makes me want to get low. I don't want to get, I'm like, nah, you got it. You got it.
When I see you on Instagram and just throughout your career, I just want to hit myself. Why didn't I stick with my piano lessons? And
Mm.
you're that friend I would be like, it's a piano over here. Just let's sing this conversation because I'm always envious of the people who can just get on the keys and just start. When
Yeah.
just start playing. Growing up, how old were you when you started playing the piano?
From what I remember, and I didn't take piano lessons. I was too rebellious to take piano lessons, so
Uh-huh.
I was already playing. But at 8 years old is kind of when I remember starting to play, and I play by ear. So I would play stuff like I remember one of the first things I learned was "All in the Family," da 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 da
Uh-huh.
da, and like "What's Happening Now" and "Family
Yeah.
Ties" and "Golden Girls." I just used to love those theme songs, and I would
Right.
go and try to play them. And then of course my dad was a pastor, so I would play in church and stuff too. But for me, that's how I learned, like trial and error, just playing different things
Mm-hmm.
because it was all ear. And yeah, so 8 years old, and I remember fully being able to play at 14 though. That's when I started playing
Wow.
for actual other people. Yeah, yeah.
Let's give the flowers. You come from great lineages. Your father is the legendary Bishop Paul S.
Yeah,
Morton Sr.,
that's right.
um,
Yeah.
who presides over the Greater Stephen Baptist Church. He's a
Hmm.
singer, a prolific singer as well. Was it
Yeah.
pressure going into music, even having that talent at a young age?
Well, it was more pressure deciding not to do gospel music as an
Mm,
artist, than it was going into music. It was just the fact that I wasn't following in my father's footsteps. I mean, he was a
mhm.
singer, but a pastor more than a singer. And so when I decided that I wanted to do soul music, I wanted to do R&B music, it was a little rub initially
Right.
until everybody started to see the content, of my music and what I was saying. They were like, okay, this doesn't feel like anything is happening wrong. It's
Right.
just storytelling. And I think I helped a lot of people with that. Helped a lot of preachers' kids. I know they always hit me like, "We're so happy you took your own path," so
Yeah.
we could take our own path. But yeah, it wasn't not difficult going into music. That was helpful, but the fact that I didn't do gospel music initially was actually definitely a challenge.
How has it been working? Because you have a song with your father on one of your past albums. How is it working with him, like through the years and different projects you bring him on?
Yeah, it's fun to me.
Yeah.
Me and my dad, we're really cool. Just as friends. And so when it comes to that, and it's so funny, because now he gets, oh, you're PJ Morton's dad. My whole life I got, oh, that's Bishop, you Bishop Morton's son, and now he
Right.
gets you PJ Morton's dad. So he really respects it too. Like he respects me as a songwriter and a producer and stuff. So he's always like just ready to do. It's like we switch roles. I'm dad for a minute, and I get to,
So
I have to tell him what to do. But man, we love it anytime we get to any opportunity to just work together. Because for many years I was his traveling musician, like Aretha was with her dad. But I would travel all over the world with him, playing keyboards and organ for him. So we love any chance we get to hang together.
So and you like lived on the road for a long time because you traveled with Maroon 5, which is amazing.
Yeah,
I see you're so eclectic. You know, I'm a HBCU graduate as well. I went to
let's
Jackson
go.
State. Um,
Okay, JSU.
and
My
you know,
tour
I
manager went to Jackson State.
oh
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Tell them I say the I love.
Where?
um I think that you've been on the road and you're so eclectic, you know, and what I love is that you didn't just stick to one genre of music. You worked, I think Adam Levine is amazing. I love Maroon
Yeah,
5, you know, and I feel like growing up now, growing up, I didn't have to say, oh, I'm this color, so I got to listen to this only music. I have to
right.
listen to this music. Working at Dillard, have you
Mhm.
like how is that working with those kids because it's new music right now? How do you kind of open their eyes to, hey, you don't have to just listen to trap or you don't have to listen to
Yeah.
this? How do you work? How's the experience working with the kids at Dillard?
Yeah, and I wish, I've been in residence, we've been waiting, but I've been in residence since the pandemic. So I haven't had a
Oh,
lot of hands-on like I would like. I mean,
right.
we did a talent show and our master class keeps getting pushed back. But for me, it's really by example.
Mm-hmm.
When I remember growing up in music, the things I paid attention to was like the solutions and the action as opposed to executives that would come tell me what they think I should be doing, or because it's always changing. And when anybody thinks that they have it all figured out, is usually a big sign that, that it's not figured out. So what I try to do is lead by example. And that's what I try to show more than anything.
Right.
Yes, I'm in Maroon 5. Yes, I had signed the Young Money at one time. Yes, I did a gospel album too. Yes, I have a bunch of R&B albums, because I think there's just good and bad music, and you can find the good stuff in anything. And
Yeah.
even joining Maroon 5 and everything, I realized like, man, we're all so much closer to the same than we are different. We have our differences for sure, but there's so many threads of stuff that we all connect to.
How did that happen for for someone who didn't know that you traveled and played with Maroon 5? How did that
Mhm.
relationship happen?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm still in the band. I'm still
Yeah.
in Maroon 5. Yeah, it's been 12 years in
Wow.
July. But it was random. I was actually on a solo tour of my own. I was burnt out on my own tour. Like, man, something's got to change. And I got a call from a friend of mine, Adam Blackstone,
Yes.
who's a music director. And Adam was like, man, I got a call from Maroon 5. They're looking for a keyboard player that can sing. And so if you want to do it, you got it. I was like, you know what? I think I canceled my last few dates of my tour, postponed them, and went to LA. And they wanted me to audition, which was not, I had never auditioned in my life.
Right.
But they had been a band since eighth grade, so they hadn't auditioned before either. So I played and we just vibed out really. It just was so crazy. It was like a dream how it all happened. I went and did it. And then the next day they told me I got it. That was 2010. And then 2012 is when I was officially in the band. That's when you saw the black guy pop in the pictures out of nowhere. Like, wait, hold on.
Right.
I don't remember there being a black guy in Maroon 5. But yeah,
Right.
2012 is when I started being in the photos and stuff. And I mean, the band, they changed my life, so it's been
Yeah.
amazing. But it's still accredited to me being open, to different types of things. When you remain open, then you're able to go into avenues that you may not usually get to.
Stay ready. Stay
Yeah,
ready.
that's right. You
Yeah.
have to get ready. That's right.
I'm curious. The more you talk, I keep on saying, "Gosh, he's really busy," And you're independent. You put this album out by yourself. What made you go that route instead of
um
going to a big label? Like, because you could say, "Listen, um, PJ Morton, like you have albums, you have catalog. You could just
mhm,
give it to a label." Um,
sure,
what made
sure.
you
And I
go independent?
and I've thought about that plenty times, but I think, for in the beginning, it's different now. It's independent by choice. When I started, I went to every major label there was,
Right.
years ago, and nobody really got me. Nobody understood me. So I was forced to be independent. This is before it was cool and in style to be indie, like people, it's like a good thing now. But like
Mm-hmm.
when I was doing it, it was because I literally had to. But what that forced me to do was learn this whole business. I mean, every side. I've driven the van. I've done the flyers. I've done the setting up the stage. I've done it all, and it just gave me so much knowledge that it was hard for me to just go and give this to someone, you know.
Right.
But then after some years that I did one major album and went to Young
Mm-hmm.
Money, and for me, that really confirmed for me, like, okay, I'm meant to be independent, and it's been that way since. All the Grammy wins and stuff have been since I've been independent, which fully, I mean, you know, even further confirms for me, like, is where I belong, you know, and what fits me the best. Yeah.
Are you currently in the studio working on new music?
I am, yeah. I mean, like literally in the
Yeah.
studio. But yeah, we got Please Don't Walk Away out, and I wanna you know, put an album together with that song, and it's turning out all right. I'm excited. Like, it's a really creative time right now for me. I tell songwriters to live first and then write, and we've been through
Right.
two of the craziest years, you know,
Absolutely.
ever. And so there's something to say, and there's, you know, and I just want to be intentional about that. So I'm working on it now. I'm excited to put something together and give it to the world.
You've worked with so many people. Is there anyone that you want to circle back and work with, or someone new that you would like
Yeah.
to do a collaboration with?
Well, well, I can say this because I saw him say it in the article, but for me, Stevie Wonder and I have, you know, we've developed such an awesome relationship, and I worked on something for his album, us doing a song together, and so I'm always wanting to circle back with Stevie Wonder. You know what
Right,
I'm
right.
saying?
Of
Always.
course.
But there's certainly, I mean, I'll scream it to the mountaintop. But if I could ever get somewhere with D'Angelo, that's my dream.
Ooh.
To well, I don't care what it is, just we just create something together. D'Angelo is that, I mean, he's, you know, a big part. I don't talk about him as much as I talk about Stevie
Yeah.
and Donny Hathaway and some of those guys, but D'Angelo really had a big impact on me and my music and what I do. So that would be huge. Andre 3000 too is one that I would love to collaborate with. But yeah, we'll see. I'll keep saying it out loud.
You're such a chameleon as well, even with your different hairstyles and haircuts. Because I'm like, I think the last time I saw you, I'm like, I think you had a shorter haircut. You grow it out. Like, I love
Oh
it.
yeah, I go through
You're such a,
stages.
yeah.
I think that was my mother. That was my mother. My mom
Right.
changed her hair just about every week. I think I'm not connected to anything.
The law of
Yeah,
detachment, you know.
yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah.
talk about I want to talk about also just being New Orleans native and
Mhm.
growing up in New Orleans. Like, New Orleans is one of my top 3 cities. How has it been growing up and seeing kind of the progression of New Orleans, you know, and being like a native?
Yeah, I mean, you know, first pre-Katrina and post-Katrina
Yeah.
are very different. You know, I think the amount of people, even the type of people, homegrown people, we lost a lot of that. I mean, of course, I left for 13 years myself.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to school, and I went to New York, and I went to LA after I joined Maroon 5. So I had been gone a long time. So I really was able to see a change. One
Right.
of the positive changes for me was, for all the bad that Katrina did, it did force some people out of New Orleans to see other things. And, you know, because there's some people who never left their neighborhoods before Katrina, you know, and
Right.
so they were able to experience more. And what I see is the people who went out to experience more and came back home, came back better, and brought more back to the city, you know. And that's the way I'm looking at it. I feel like those of us who are in New Orleans, from New Orleans, that actually came back, I didn't have to come back, you know.
Yeah.
We have purpose, and that's just really important to me, like to expand and allow people in New Orleans now not to have to leave like I had to leave to go follow my dreams, but you can actually, I'm showing them, like, I'm here, I'm making this album right here in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? And again, going back to being an example, that's just really important to me, to show the possibilities right from here, you know.
That's wonderful. You
Yeah.
know, I have to make certain stops. I have to make in New Orleans, and get my fix of it. You
That's
know,
right.
I
Yeah,
miss
it's a
I
special
missed a
place.
couple. it is a special place. I haven't been there in a couple of years since the whole COVID.
Yeah,
You always have to
before,
preface
yeah.
before COVID, blah blah blah.
I know it's gonna be like World War One or something. Like, yeah, before World War One, like that's it's a real thing though. Like,
It's a
you
real
know,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
It's just traveling. Traveling. How is traveling for you now? Now that we
yeah.
have this different world.
Yeah, it's getting a little looser. I didn't travel. I mean, the longest time ever in my life, probably since I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting down for a year and a half, I believe it was for me. Maybe a little less. And that was scary at first. But now, it's getting back to normal. I don't know if that's good or not, but like the airports are packed again. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't miss this. But we got to do what we got to do. I think, just as a human race, that's what we've always done, is like adapt it. And I don't think it's going to be any
Word.
different. We're figuring it out.
Word. Before I just have a couple more questions. I must
Okay.
talk about your game show host.
Yeah. Okay.
The culture.
Yes.
I loved watching it. You would have been hitting that button for me because I was like, I got to think. I was going,
I would have been
yo,
hitting it for myself.
like the time to prep and get those were good questions. You
Yeah.
had really good questions each show. I
Yeah.
was
Well,
impressed.
yeah. Shout out to Michael Goodman, Dollar, and Wade. So many people that helped us. We had a good team around us to do that, because I was like, I need help with the questions. You know what I'm saying? So that was from one of the first reach outs we did, because I wanted it to be interesting. But that was so much fun for me, especially that was right after the pandemic, where it was
Right.
like world was shut down. We needed to figure out a way to connect. And I didn't want to do music at that point. I was like
Yeah.
burnt out for a minute. I needed to reset. And that was like a welcome thing for me. I can't wait to bring it back. I want to bring it back like bigger and better.
That's my
'Cause it
question.
it
Are
was
we
a good
getting a
time.
new
Yeah.
season?
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, that's the
Okay.
plan. I want to do it proper. I want to have real buzzers and like do this in person, because it showed how much fun you could have, even from that. So yes, we're building on it. We're talking about it, and
Good.
hopefully we get it out there. Yeah.
One that had me stuck was how many candles did Joe light? How many candles did he light for you? And I was like, two? I don't know. I was I was like, and I'm quick to go, two. Yeah, you would have been.
Hey, it's satisfying pressing that buzzer. I can't lie, but
Right.
thankfully I had the answers.
Thankfully. And before we wrap, two more
Mhm,
questions. Being in New
mhm.
Orleans, are you a Saints fan?
Oh, I'm a huge Saints fan.
Okay.
Huge,
So
huge.
no
Yeah,
more Drew Brees. Sean Payton is there. What are y'all gonna do
scary,
next season? You know?
scary times, scary times. I was just hanging with old Alvin Kamara the other day,
Yeah.
and we didn't talk about football. I didn't want to bring up football,
Right.
but the Drew Brees thing, I was okay with. I was okay with that. This Sean Payton thing is more of a cultural change. I don't even know what that means for our team now, because he, for so long. I mean, and I say, like, we talk about COVID. There's pre-Saints Sean Payton and post-Saints Sean Payton. Like, he changed the whole culture of the club.
Yeah.
And so I don't even know. Well, I mean, I imagine this is a new era. It's an end of an era, and I'm okay with that. What I love about Saints fans is we went through 30 years of losing. Like, we cool. We'll go with you. We'll figure it out.
But y'all some tough fans though. Y'all are
Yes,
riders.
indeed.
Y'all are
Yes.
riders.
Who that?
Yes.
That's when you lose. That's when you lose all those years. You develop. You like, listen. What's the worst you could do to me?
Y'all got heart,
Yeah.
a lot of heart
Nah,
each season.
who
Um,
that?
and I told you at the beginning, Reggie Hawkins, who is our leader of Taste, is a Louisiana native. And
Yes.
we were talking about just your family. And he said, his daddy got the greatest song in Louisiana, Your Tears. And he was like, it make you cry. And he said, and I guess for my question, what does that song do for you when you hear it? Is it
Your
emotional
Tears.
for you? Your Tears, yeah. Part 1 and
What
part
does it
2.
do for me? Yeah, I haven't heard it in so long, but
Uh-huh.
I think when I think of Your Tears, it makes me think of that's one of the first things I learned on piano too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
intro, that comes to my mind. But you know what? I remember I was the little kid watching my dad sing that at funerals, and and people like crying and like,
Hmm.
I don't know. It is emotional for me, but from a different place, like from a father son place. It was like,
Right.
man, my dad is really touching people. I've watched him sing that song over and over and over, and touch so many people and like comfort so many people. And
Yeah.
that's what I think about, because I was very,
Wow.
very young when that came out. But I remember him. I'm talking about from the intro. It was one of those things like your favorite R&B jam when the intro starts. But you would hear people scream and crying before he even said
Yeah.
Your Tears, before he even sang the first line. And that was amazing to see. I'm sure it had an effect on me, even as an artist that I don't even know, seeing
Absolutely.
that much power in a song,
Yeah.
in a voice. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. It's amazing. Just the history and just all the amazing things that you've done, you're doing, and will do.
Thank you.
Congratulations on this hit song, Please Don't Walk Away.
Thank you
Looking
so much.
forward to the new album. Thank you so much, PJ. This has been an
Thank
honor.
you. Thank you for having me.
I hear Ready to Love differently now because it put the name to the voice.
Yeah, yeah. I'm happy you figured that out. I hate when that happens, when you like, I know it, but I can't.
I was
Yeah.
like, I know this voice. I know this voice. But
Yeah.
you have one of those soothing voices, that you hear like on commercial jingles, albums, everything. You're just a chameleon. You're just a
Thank you.
chameleon.
Thank you. I
Thank you so
appreciate that.
much.